Welcome to the Solo PR Summit. Coming to you live from Atlanta, Georgia. The Solo PR Summit offers unparalleled professional development, advanced learning, and connection. And now, here are today's hosts.
Good afternoon and welcome to this special edition of Marketing from the Streets. We are coming to you live from the Solo PR Summit here in Atlanta, Georgia. I am your host, Todd Schnick, joined by my friend and colleague, Todd Youngblood. I'm looking forward to this one. This should be interesting.
I am too. She enjoyed the theme music too. Do you know?
She did.
Grooving to the beat
she
there.
Was jamming to the theme music. Say hello to Cier Black. She is the owner of Cier Public Relations. Welcome to the show, Cier.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me today.
The pleasure is ours, I assure you. Cier, before we really get into it, take a sec and tell us a little bit about you and your background.
Okay. Cier Public Relations is a newly launched public relations boutique that's based out of Atlanta, and we service the small business market. However, my last company, I transitioned from one company to another. The last company name was Trilogy Marketing Communications, and that was a communications company in which I did a lot of writing, basically, as far as speech writing, resume writing, as well as coaching and small business coaching. So from there, I naturally moved into public relations.
Well, Cier Public Relations is a new organization, but you've got a lot of years of experience in the space. Talk a little bit more about that.
Okay. I also have a corporate background. I worked for a Fortune 500 company, and I was in their marketing department for 10 years. And what I liked about that company, first of all, was that I moved from division to division. So I had the opportunity to learn the marketing aspects all the way up to the top management. So that was a great experience inside and out. I had the opportunity to price the figures, so I know what it means as far as demographics and costs. I also had the opportunity to go out and actually speak about the products. And that's where I felt most comfortable in speaking about the products.
Cier, you described your business as a boutique, and I'm thinking of the small business people that I deal with, and they're crusty old guys like me. And I'm just curious, is why did you choose the word boutique to describe your business?
That is a great question. Two reasons. First of all, because the team is boutique. So we're a small group, but we are able to give the business owner that intimate one-on-one consultation that they need. We provide information as well as service in such a way that larger firms cannot provide. So that's why we chose the word boutique.
Bill Gates has said, if it was down to my last dollar, and he's got a lot of them, I'd spend it on public relations.
Yes,
Talk
he has.
about what that means, and what do you think he's getting at?
We love
that?
Bill Gates for that quote right there, because in essence, it is the awareness of your organization that allows you to be successful. So if you did not have that public relations aspect, then no one would know about you. And that's why I chose the small business market, because of the fact that they are the ones that are underserved as far as PR is concerned. Most small business owners just immediately think they cannot afford it. But that is not the case, because if you work with their budget, you can develop a plan strategically. That's what it takes, is strategy as far as these small business owners are concerned. And that's why I chose that market. That's where the most need is. Surprisingly, CNN.com said that 65% of future employment and economic growth is based upon small businesses. So what does that mean? That means people need to know about their services so that they can continue to grow.
Cier, one of the phrases on your business card is creative writing.
Yes.
And Todd and I do a lot of work with engineering firm and engineers and folks that are very precise about facts. Creative writing?
Yes.
How does that fit in?
Into PR, that's a good question too. Creative writing, because in order to grab the reporters or editors or journalists' attention, it has to be shaped in a way in which they find it useful as well as informative. Oftentimes you get PRs that write releases, but they may not attract the attention because they're not strategically placed as far as what the purpose and intent is. Reporters do not like advertising. So that's what you have to make sure you do in the writing, is make sure it's not an advertisement, but more or less it's information. You have to give them reason as to why they should cover your company.
Talk about the coaching that you do.
Well, coaching as far as small business, has been very challenging. I am also finding out my new platform is educating. Most small business owners, because they have not been exposed to PR, they do a lot of, I do a lot of educating along the process. When I first meet with them, I have to, first of all, educate them as to what public relations is and the role of a publicist. So that's the first coaching that I provide. Ultimately, of course, they make their own decisions, but it is important for them to understand the outcomes of their decisions. So that's where the coaching aspect comes in from, as well as educating. That is so important. I'm finding that out as far as small business markets are concerned.
Cier, in dealing with small businesses, most times I'm guessing you're dealing with the owner, the individual that bought the store, owns the store, runs the store, and wants to pass it on to his children.
Correct.
How do you deal with that ego? I mean, those folks are pretty sure of themselves. You don't go out and start a business like yourself. You don't go out and start a business unless you have a lot of self-confidence, know all the answers. You've got to come in and say, well, that's not quite right. How do you deal with folks to steer them in the right direction?
Right. You know, I haven't had that difficulty with the small business owners. I also work with professionals and entrepreneurs, and that's where the challenge lies. Because of, professionals, they have that intense professional background, either corporate or just been in business for a long period of time. So it is challenging to try to educate them as to what I do, because they feel they know best. But then you just have to ask them, okay, well, you know how to do it, then, let's see what the outcome is. Have you been successful thus far? So I just ask them, have you reached where you would like to go? And once they really put it into thought as to they want to go further, then they allow me to come in a little bit more. But it hasn't been the small business owners. They are grateful to receive the help and have a team supporting them. But it's more or less the professionals, because they do have that background, and they kind of think, and that's the worst, when you think you know something, it's hard to tell you anything. But when you admit that you don't know it, it is much easier to educate you and allow someone to lead.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. The owner's been punched in the nose a few times and realizes that he or she doesn't really know it all.
They value PR, and that's why I love that market. They truly value it.
Now, we've had the pleasure of hanging out with you at the Solo PR Summit. So why are you here, and what have you learned so far? What's the most important thing you've learned?
I am so glad that I'm here. As a newly launched PR company, this is like goal for me, and I've learned so many things. The first thing, or the most important thing, the thing that I take away from, and the thing I appreciate the most, is the network of people. It is so important when you are solo to be surrounded by other solo entrepreneurs, because you need that support. When you're in corporate, you're used to your boss patting you on the back, great job. Not only that, you get your check in 2 weeks, and you're doing a great job. But here, as a solo entrepreneur and, as PR professional, you don't have that. So I really like the community, and that is what's most important to me.
I need to get a tip from you. So I'm looking for some free consulting as a small business owner. I mean, Todd and I are in this together. It's so difficult to keep up with the technology. I mean, there's so many different things, especially a guy my age trying to learn all this social media stuff is a heck of a challenge. How do you keep up, and how do you pick which technologies to learn, and then how do you go about learning them?
Okay. One of the things as far as our boutique is concerned is that it's a group of individuals that are very well experienced in their field. As far as PR is concerned, we recognize the role of technology. You cannot be successful without use of technology, whether it's Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn. There are so many mediums, so many outlets out there that you really do have to decide which one is best for you. But what you have to decide is, where's your market? Where does your market hang out? How can I reach the people that are going to use my services, buy my product? And from there, that is how we decide what tool to use.
Well, Cier, I hate to say it, but we're out of time. Before we let you go, how can people get in touch with you, and where can they learn more about CRB Public Relations?
First of all, thank you guys for having me. I really do appreciate it. And I can be found at www.cier, that's CIER, PR.com.
Cier Black with CRB Public Relations. It was great to have you. Thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
All right. Well, that wraps this special edition of Marketing from the Streets, broadcasting live from Atlanta, Georgia, and at the Solo PR Summit. So on behalf of our guest, Cier Black, my co-host, Todd Youngblood, I'm Todd Schnick. We'll see you next time on Marketing from the Streets.